Hello and welcome to the online lesson for your DT lesson on Tuesday. I am just going to share my desktop with you like so. Here we go. Excellent. So this is, I hope you are very well and I hope you have cracked on with the first task of designing your title page, and I hope you had fun with that. And you managed to see the video for that one too. This is your second task, and so you need to get your workbooks out and you turn to page 10. So if I just go through my slides to page 10, and it should look like this. And your task is what it says at the top, just to fill in these different boxes, and you can do that either on your computer by downloading the file that I posted on your Firefly task, or you can just fill it in your workbook if you've got your workbook at home with you. So what I'm going to do is just go through how I would teach you how to make your hand controller in the lesson, as if we were in the lesson. And then I would like you to try to work out how you would then apply it to making your own hand controller. So first of all, you've all, from the last homework you did before Easter, you all made a cardboard cutout of your controller, and I'm looking forward to having a look at those and marking those on Firefly this week. So we'd pick up our controller and we'd place that on a piece of wood that you can see in this image here on the top left. We'd place that on our piece of wood and we'd draw around it with our pencil. We would then also, we would also put an extra line around the outside, which is known as, I would normally ask you this in a lesson, but it's called a waistline, normally as a dotted line. And we draw that dotted line, the waistline, so that we have a bit of margin for error. So we can cut along that line and then file it down to the correct size that we want. So we've got the template there. Moving on to the next step, we would get out the coping saw and we'd start cutting, remembering that the cuts are only in the direction of the teeth, which are pointing towards the handle, coming back towards you, and making sure that we're not breaking any blades by pushing the blade too hard into the wood. And we cut out our complicated design shape. Moving down, the bobbin sander, that is for, if we look at the top here, you can see the curves in this design, the example design at the top. You would use the bobbin sander to get inside those concaved curves to sand them down nicely. You could also use a file for this as well if you want to have some extra knowledge on there. And moving on, the pillar drill. The pillar drill here, ours look a little bit different. You can also have ones which stand from the floor. That's one that you put on the bench, but we've got them very similar to that. And the pillar drill will be used for drilling the holes of the buttons to make the MicroBot move forward and backwards. So you've got, as I said when we were in school, you're going to have two buttons, one which turns the left motor on, which will probably be on the left, and one which turns the right motor on, which will probably be on the right. And use the pillar drill to drill into your piece of wood to create the holes to fit the buttons in. Now, the countersink bit is something that you haven't probably used before. This is a drill bit basically that you put into the pillar drill, or you could put into a hand drill, and you can also get hand countersinks as well, which you basically push onto the spot which you have drilled your piece of wood with on the pillar drill, and it creates like a chamfer, it creates like an indent, which makes it a lot easier to put the switch in, and it makes it look nicer as well. So when you put the switch in, it kind of the slopes of the wood like slide down onto the switch instead of just being quite a sharp cut. So it just makes it look a lot more professional and aesthetically pleasing. Abrasive paper, the last one. Now that is, you all know what abrasive paper is. You can get lots of different forms of it: glass paper, sandpaper. And this is to sand down our the whole piece of wood to make sure it is ready for finishing. So to make it really nice and smooth and ergonomic for us when we are holding our controller. So yeah, abrasive paper is that. Now in the space below in here, it's got one more spot for you. So the last spot is for I want you to make your own mind up on what finishes you'd like to add to your controller. So the options we have in the workshop: you could put a wax finish onto your controller, which still makes you be able to see the grain of the wood, which is quite nice. A more natural look for your controller. You can obviously use acrylic paint, and you can paint a nice design. You can varnish it or stain the wood, so then again you can still see the grain, but it's just you've changed the color of the piece of wood. So you've got 3 options there. And what I want you to do below the abrasive paper, I'd like you to, as an extra challenging task, is draw your design and here in this little spot, and decide what you're gonna, and put finishing on there and decide how you're going to finish it with the same explanation on the right hand side. Okay, I hope that will make sense. Good luck with making it your own, and I look forward to marking it. Thanks. Bye.